Hello and welcome to The Skyline, a modern sports podcast ran by Black youth and produced for the masses. Today we welcome an extremely special guest that has become a close friend in the hearts of our team. He is an American former professional basketball player who played primarily at the guard position. Sit back and relax as our host Sky Harvin speaks with CBA champion and NBA legend Chris Childs.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
No, not a problem. Not a problem.
Okay, so it's going to be super quick because I don't want to take up too much of your day. So I essentially just want to go back through your career as a whole, not just the NBA, but your time in the CBA as well, and also just your opinions on the game now, watching the NBA from an outside point of view, and just basketball in general.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I want you to take me through your time in the CBA. So 1989 to 1994, you win the CBA championship. Can you take me through that journey out of high school?
Wow, you're taking me way back.
Well, out of college.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. No, it was a exciting time and a disappointing time. Being highly regarded, coming out of high school, having a lot of colleges look at me, but a lot of the colleges knowing my stance on how I felt about the ACT and the SAT being biased, tests being biased, and I protested it with a few of my other senior graduates, and that kind of scared the colleges away because they wrote an article in the paper saying that I was militant. And I'm like, how can I be militant because I have an opinion about, something that 80% of people know that it's a biased test because the questions they ask, we don't live that type of life. So, but once I took the test, so my father told me, just go ahead and take it because you got to go to college. Go ahead and take it and you prove people wrong, but just understand that we stood by you and we stick by what you believe in, and I'm proud of you for sticking to your truth. And so I took the test, did well. A lot of colleges that left came back. I thumbed my nose to them like, no, I don't want to go to your school. If this is how you treat people, I don't want to attend your college. And so I had like 5 different choices of schools to go to, end up choosing Boise State, going there knowing that the coach told me that I would have an opportunity to start. He didn't promise me the position, but he told me I had a chance. I would be able to try out for a starting position, and that made me want to go to that school even more because he was the first coach out of I think 5 or 6 that I was getting ready to choose from that allowed me an opportunity to compete for the starting position. After that, Boise State played every game in my 4-year career. Was in Sports Illustrated my junior years, one of the best guards in the West. Looking forward to being drafted. Never happened. So that was a little disappointing. When you get some news like that, you have a pre-draft party, have all your family over and friends and teammates and other students from the college, and then you don't hear your name called. Even though I was at home, it was quite disappointing. But like I said, I went to my room. My father said, give him a few hours, he'll be back. He'll be okay. And so I went in there, did my thing, cried, stomped, ran it, graved. Then, after about 3 or 4 hours, it's time for what's the next plan for Chris. And so I had to get my mind right, get my body stronger, get my capabilities of knowing how to run a ball club together because I played mostly 2-guard in college.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to transition to, learn how to play the point guard position all over again, even though I started my high school career as a point guard. So it was just back in the gym, getting myself better and stronger and getting ready for the CBA draft. Then I get drafted in the CBA, and the first team I get drafted by, they trade me. I think it was within 3 weeks out of Rapid City, South Dakota. Played for a coach, I think it was Bill Musselman. He passed recently, and his son is Eric Musselman. That coaches, I think he's at South Carolina, or Arkansas, one of those schools. And so that's another shock to your system. To okay, now I'm in the minors, now I'm getting traded again. So end up bouncing around for about 4 years, 5 years. Finally got to a team in Columbus, Ohio. Played well, then ended up getting traded to a team called the Quad City Thunder in Iowa. And that's when the transition of my game became pro caliber. And played for an owner named Ann DeLong, rest in peace. She showed me things in my life that I need to get better, as far as alcohol abuse, uh, gambling abuse, just an addictive personality. And she was the first owner that I've met throughout my career, whether it's minor leagues or NBA, that cares about the person more so than the player. And so she gave me an opportunity to fly me on a jet to a rehab facility with John Lucas. And when you go to these places, you don't think that you're like those people, because you don't fall out drunk, or you're not stealing things, but you have an addictive behavior that needs to be addressed on how to live life on life terms. And going there with John showed me how to do that. And then it also cleared my mind, because once I left the facility, came back to the team, we ended up winning the championship, and I was the MVP. Whereas the 5 years that I was there playing for other teams, I never got third team honorable mention. So that allowed me to clear my head and learn how to play the game, and give my teammates and myself an opportunity to win the championship, which we did. And that's when I got the call up from the NBA.
So taking that transition just throughout that journey, your transition from CBA, coming out of that championship, going into the NBA, how was that?
It was tough, because at times, I mean, we're only human. You have self-doubt creep in. You see other guys that you played against in college, in the CBA, get call-ups. Your own teammates get the 10-day, and then get a 20-day, then eventually make a team. And so you get frustrated, because you think you're doing everything possible, but then again, you have to do some soul searching and point the finger at yourself and stop pointing at others, and see what you can do better. How can I perform better? How can I be a better person? How can I be a better man? How can I be a better father, brother? So you have to do some soul searching within yourself to get God's blessings for everything to open up for you. And that's what I had to do.
So I want to go through your time in the NBA, playing for different teams, and just your outlook on that, how that shaped you after your experiences in the CBA and coming out of college, and just your overall experience in the NBA.
Well, the initial team, first team I played for were the New Jersey Nets. Willis Reed, another one that I, felt, was someone that was a mentor to me. Rest in peace. He just passed recently as well. That team was, it was a different group of guys, guys that were lottery picks and highly regarded, but we never fully meshed to do anything great as a team. We had great individual players, but the team didn't have that much success. But taught me how to be a professional, how to take responsibility for your own self and your own skills. So I had to do a lot of more gym work. I had to become a professional and an adult, and ask the assistant coaches, I need to get in the gym. Can I get a key? Nothing was handed to you. So I had to make sure that I stayed on top of my profession and what I wanted to get out of it. And, then, you got Kenny Anderson, who was at Georgia Tech, All-Star Derek Coleman, you got Rex Walters, you got Chris, all these players that have already, spent 3 or 4 years in the NBA that made a name. To make a name for myself, to get my opportunity. So I just busted my behind every day in practice, every minute I got on the court, whether it was 2 minutes, whether it was 5 minutes, whether it was 10 minutes. I was going to do something that stood out that they would recognize. And eventually they saw my skill level and my talent. And I ended up playing more with Kenny, and then eventually getting the starting job because they ended up trading Kenny and giving me the reins of the team. And then once I got that, that's when my game really took off, that other teams in the league took notice that I was able to run a ball club and be successful at it.
So I want to talk specifically now about your time with the New York Knicks, which I think a lot of people find you most notable for.
Yeah, that was it was an easy transition because all I had to do is go through the tunnel and I'm in the city, but playing for that team and just playing the way that I play the game, there was nothing for me to change. The only thing that I had to change was I had better players, I had all-stars, and I wasn't called upon to score as much. But the other parts of my game still maintained the same of how hard I played and how much I enjoyed playing defense and doing the little things to help the team win. We had some characters on that team. I played with Patrick and John and Oak and Charlie Ward and Herb Williams, LeVar Postel, John Wallace, Chris Dudley, David Wingate. I mean, gosh, man, I know I'm leaving a few people out, but we had some characters. And one thing I know that our practices were harder than our games because we went, when you mirror each other and you guys all have the same game plan, then it's tougher to score, it's tougher to run your offense. So we had some battles, we had some scraps, but that team was special. And I named those guys, but I saw, when we transitioned and made some trades, I got to add Sprewell and Camby and Kurt Thomas in that mix as well, and Larry Johnson. We became a different team. We were still physical, but we were more athletic once those guys came. And then that's when we had that run of making the playoffs when we didn't have a chance and getting the eighth seed and beating a team that we've known we can beat previously, and being able to match up with them, then that made that run even more special.
Absolutely. So you leave the Knicks, you go to the Raptors before you go to the Raptors. So what's that environment like in comparison to playing with the Knicks and being on that playoff run and just being on a team to where even in your shift of trades, you guys found a way to work together? How was that going from one team to the next?
Yeah, it was the whole experience of being traded at that time, because of the trade deadline, I think, was on a Tuesday at midnight, I think. And I'm getting ready to go out with some friends. I'm in a barbershop and we're getting ready to head out. And I get a call at 11:59, 30 seconds. So I had 30 seconds until the trade deadline was over and I wasn't getting traded. So I get the call and I can't believe it. I'm in there, mad. I'm like, Toronto, why Toronto? Why me? I'm the one that, sacrificed my starting job to help the team and blah, 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 all these. So I had to regroup again and say, look, stop pointing the finger, stop feeling sorry for yourself. This can be a great opportunity for you basically to get back at the Knicks. Because, I know I can be petty and hold a grudge sometimes, but I did. And so when I got traded, the good thing about the trade is Charles Oakley was there because he had got traded I think the previous year or 2 years. So that made that transition good. And then we had a talented player um, like Vince Carter on the team that I could help mold and mesh. We had Alvin Williams, who was the point guard. We had Jerome Williams, Junkyard Dog. We had another all-star, Antonio Davis. We had shooters like Dale Curry, Tracy Murray, Mo P. So we had a young, good team. And so my responsibility when I got there, and Coach Wilkins, Lenny Wilkins, brought me in. He said, Chris, I just want you to make my guards tougher, push them. And if you outplay them, you're going to play. And so that's what I tried to do with that team, to teach those guys how to be mentally and physically stronger than your opponent. But it just doesn't start during game time. We have to do this in practice as well. And we did that. So our practices became more competitive. Guys were spending more time in the weight room, getting ready, preparing themselves for battle. And lo and behold, we got our chance. We played the Knicks in the playoffs. And I talked a little bit that week, about Jeff and the team and what we're going to do, and we're going to make them pay, which I'm not extremely proud of, but that's just my competitive nature. And the fans have forgiven me for talking as much as I did off the court and on the court. But I just wanted to win because I didn't feel that I should have been the one moved. But usually when they trade you, you're the one that has the most value. So it was a business decision that the Knicks made. No hard feelings. But we won up them by beating them in the playoffs.
So now I want to kind of go through the end of your NBA career and how you went through making the decision to essentially leave a life you dreamed of coming out of high school, going in to college and making that transition.
Yeah, it was tough. When after my contract was up with Toronto, get a call from the Nets, my previous team, that they wanted to sign me. And I'm like, okay, young team that gets up and down. I know what my role is. But at that moment, I didn't know I had a hairline fracture in my foot. And I just, when I would come back and I was working out in the summer, my workouts are different. I usually work out with guys that I grew up with, that I play basketball with in the parks and run mountains. And we get in the gym and lock ourselves in there for 3 months, eating tuna and sardines and whatnot. I wasn't able to participate because I had a hairline fracture. So my movement was restricted, how I could slide or whatever. So when I got to the Nets, it was hard for me to get healthy. I picked up more weight. I tried to do stuff in the weight room, so I got bulkier. And, I stayed in the swimming pool trying to burn the calories, trying to lose the weight. I would come back and play. Wasn't quite the same. I would have moments where I was playing well, but it wasn't the consistent time that I needed when I'm on the court to make a difference. And so it was just a mutual decision that it wasn't fair to another player to have an opportunity to sit on the bench and make a life out of playing in the NBA. And I just didn't feel that I was playing well enough to deserve that spot. And so I just decided to walk away from the game, which it was hard, but also it gave me an opportunity to spend more time with my family.
So I want to touch on that too. Your life after the NBA, you have more time to focus on your family and grow outside of an NBA environment. So what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I took some time off, started working on my golf game, uh, just traveling, seeing family, friends, kids. And now, I did it for 25 years. I train kids and mentor young fatherless Black men to give them an opportunity to have an environment where they can talk and share their feelings, share their days. A lot of men and young men are afraid to express their feelings. They hold everything in. And so when I mentor young people like that, I give them a room of people that look just like them to give them comfortability and familiarity to to be able to talk to one another and tell what their day is like, what their school life is like, what their home life is like, where they want to be in 5 years. So it just gives them the opportunity to be humble, not walk around with a scowl on their face. You can't walk into my meetings with your pants hanging down. You have to you have to be a gentleman, because first thing my father taught me was, whenever you walk out this house, you're auditioning for somebody. Somebody's watching you. And so that's the thing that I remember the most, and I try to instill in the young men that I've mentored as well.
So I want to touch on, your son is currently the assistant coach for the Austin Spurs. So coming out of the game, I know
Yeah,
there's a huge sense of pride in that. So you want to touch on that a little bit?
yeah, my son is awesome, man. He was someone that was on his way as well. He was very athletic. He was a better football player than he was basketball, but he ended up getting 4 concussions in high school. And his mother said, "No, that's enough." The doctors are like, "Look, he can't keep getting these concussions, or something's bad is going to eventually happen." And then he was already good in basketball. He was real good in baseball as well. And so basketball is the sport he chose. I just think a lot of times when you play for uh, underneath a parent that's played in the NBA or any other sport, it's a lot of pressure. Um, but he ended up getting hurt a lot as well, whether it was shin splints or nerve damage, whatever. And so he wasn't able to be his best self. And so he bounced around a couple of colleges, bounced around a couple of G League tryouts, whatever. It was hard to watch, but I knew that by him going through that, it was only going to make him stronger, because he made, uh, once he was at these different tryouts and everything, he made good connections with the people that were running it, the NBA people. I never called anybody for favors because he didn't want that. He wanted to do it on his own. Yeah, I would call and get tickets whenever they wanted to go to the games and different stuff. And hey, if you ever looking for someone, my son is coaching, but never asking them to put my son on anybody's bench. He just went to the summer league, started talking to people, just introducing himself, and then once he got his opportunity, people saw that he knew what he was talking about. He knew what he was teaching, and plus he was training in Arizona, so he was training and working out with Damian Lillard, James Harden, all these guys. He was training them so he would be able to see the people that would come with them, as far as front office people from the team, meet them, looking at how he trained. So people just took it upon themselves to, stamp the approval of, yeah, this young man knows exactly what he's doing. And then I guess Popovich heard about him, whatever, and just grabbed him by the, reins and told him, "Hey, we got a spot for you on the G League team." And now his only goal is to try to get up to the next level, and that's to be on the Spurs NBA bench or anybody's bench.
So I want to talk about the current shape of the game, because I think that's the questions everybody's kind of expecting me to ask. Having played in the league and seeing how the league has evolved, and I can say for myself, just growing up, watching how the league and its players have evolved, what are your views on, say, like the integrity of the game as comparison to when you were in the league?
Look, you ready to smile just like I'm smiling. So, I don't want to. Let me say this: the game itself. I mean, it's exciting. Uh, the things these guys are able to do. I think the game is called a lot uh, softer now. Not saying the players are soft. I'm saying that the refereeing in the league has become softer because they don't want to see that type of game on TV anymore. So I'm not going to call any man soft because it's not my place. But the game itself and the league itself has become a little softer because of the ratings or whatever they're trying to increase the following of the NBA. Uh, I like a lot of the players. I like, the thing that LeBron was able to do in his career. We should not take that lightly because he didn't come in as a scorer. He came in as a distributor, the Magic Johnson type, and have the longevity and the things that he was able to accomplish. We shouldn't take that lightly. The stuff that Ja Morant does on the court is special. He's a special talent, must see TV, but he needs to get himself in order off the court because I don't want something to happen that can easily be under his control. You have to change your environment. You have to change the people you hang around because it can be easily taken away from you because these guys in the streets play for keeps. So just give that life up and do what God has blessed you to do, and that's to play basketball and do magnificent things on the court. I don't like the play-in situation. I don't understand it, but that's just the NBA. Everything changes from year to year. The game just evolves. So you just have to say, okay, that's what it is. But you got to make people earn it, not give it to them just because they have a certain player on a certain team that you might want to see. That's not what it's all about. But that's just the shape of the NBA.
So you, in ways, kind of had a first row seat to this year's trade, and one of what I think it's quite literally only the most interesting trade to me and my dad because we're Warriors through and through. But being now a part of that family with your son marrying in, what's your view, especially within the situation, not giving too much for obvious reasons, but your sort of outward view on situations like that, maybe not the specific one, but with big trades like that being interesting, bring people back, but also the situation within Portland with the injury, maybe relating it to your situation and not knowing about your hairline fracture, kind of, if you can, mirroring those two things.
So you're talking about Junior?
Yeah.
Junior? Yeah, it was an interesting situation. I've seen that before. Been around guys that have been in similar situations. Everything is about cap space and money. They knew the situation prior, uh, but they were trying to get something more out of the trade because he's so popular within that team. I didn't talk to him about it. Didn't want to bother him because I'm pretty sure a lot of times, when you're going through stuff like that, you want to just keep your mind, as clean as possible when you get there so you can contribute and not worry about things you can't control. These teams, these agents, they work hand in hand, so you got to stay on top of it because they slick as snot. If you're not, then they all are part of the same culture. Same thing with the NBA Player Association. They're all a part of the same thing. They mix and mingle. Same thing in government. They all Republicans. They're all the same. So if you allow someone to make decisions for you, then you can get caught up in situations like that or worse. So don't let anybody make a decision for you. They work for you. You don't work for them. Once you make that understood, then you don't get in situations like that. But I will say that I know he's very happy. I know the family is very happy that he's back there, and I guarantee that the other players on that team are very happy because he does unique things for them, where they're able to play different lineups. They can go real small, smaller than they usually do because he plays a lot bigger, and he brings a lot of that tenacity and intensity to that team and to the league itself. And I know, it was maybe a couple summers ago, we all talked about that and had a conversation. And, I told him, I said, hey, just buckle up. Just buckle up and go out there and do what you're capable of doing. You know how to play the game. You play the game the right way, you'll get your shot, man. he's got his shot and some. So good for him, good for the family, good for the Warriors, and hopefully they can do something special in the postseason. It's going to be tough because I don't think that that you're missing an Iguodala, that's not playing, and he's old. He brought something different. Hopefully Wiggins can get it together and clear his mind. I'm praying for him. He's a good kid. Hopefully Draymond can stay out of foul trouble because they're gonna try to entice him to get in foul trouble and get technicals. We already know what that's about. So not worried about Steph and Clay. I wish Jordan would play the whole game, not just the shooting, but the rebounds and assists. Stop trying to be Steph. You don't have to shoot the 30-footer. Get up close to 35-footer because he's a talented player. Get close to the line because you haven't developed that type of range consistently. So when he does shoot those long shots and don't make them, it does something to your confidence and it puts the team out of position. So I hope he just learns how to play the whole overall game instead of trying to be Steph and Clay. But we'll see what happens.
So with our final bit of time, I want to talk on the LSU championship that happened, not just the championship within itself, but the outward situation, having played the game and watching the game shift. How do you think the shift of the NBA integrity, not the players themselves, but as we touched on before, the NBA integrity, how do you think that inflated the situation between Angel Reese and the Iowa team?
Well, I think that what happens, negativity sells. The media blew that out of proportion. And if people are honest, everything has always been black and white. Some people get away with it, some people don't. They had an opportunity for their Cinderella to come out and do something special, not taking nothing away from her, but the young lady didn't do anything wrong. Neither one of them did it. Caitlin with hers, doing hers, did nothing wrong. As Reese doing hers, she did nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being confident and being excited and doing something. She didn't push the girl. She didn't hit the girl. She didn't do anything. But when society and TV get a hold of a story, they're going to run with it. In the NBA, there's a taunting rule. You can't taunt or you get a technical. If that was the case then, okay, give her a T, let her shoot a free throw, and let's move on. Let's not make it such a big thing, because it's double standard. And so I feel for both of them, you know what I'm saying? Because the Caitlin girl didn't ask, to be a part of the situation. And for the person that Angel Reese, that wanted to have to deal with those questions, not we beat them, not we won, now I got to deal with this. And then also having the first lady want to invite both teams. Are you crazy? Come on now. That ain't never happened. If it was the other way around, guarantee LSU wouldn't have been invited. So we got to, start being honest and not be afraid to speak up and speak out. Because if something's wrong, speak about it. Because the more you let it fester and bury into you, then that's when you become explosive and do something that you'll regret. So we need to start speaking out on these situations even more. And a lot of us, since we don't have Black leaders, in our community, our society today, we have no Black leaders. We don't have a Malcolm. We don't have a Martin Luther King. We don't have Dr. Selby. We don't have nobody that we can look to and say, these are our Black leaders. We need more Black leaders so that young ladies like Angel Reese don't have to speak up as loud when something is done wrong to her. And so that's my take on that.
Do you think with these experiences that a lot more now, especially with the Angel Reese situation and just being Black in today's society in general, how the new generation, how they'll shape without having those Black leaders, and how will the path change? Of will it be that the new youth is going to become our Black leaders, or are we going to continue on a leaderless path?
You see the guys Yeah, they see the guys in their sport that are more braggadocious, that are more out there dancing. Like, you go to football, you got the Odell Beckham and all these different high-profile players dress in certain ways, dance in certain ways, being a certain way. You have a kid like John Morant who's like that. That team is like that. So there's a little more swag and braggadocious in the sport today, and people are looking at that. Now we have to be careful that it doesn't get to the point of being disrespectful, but speak your truth, live your truth, enjoy this life you have. And when you have something to say, speak out. That's how you get laws changed. If you speak out, if you protest, if you talk about different subjects other than the sport itself. We have to start evolving ourselves and having discussions of those matters that's going to matter the most. We can't hide. We're not going to hide in the background anymore. I know these young kids are, and that's a good thing. But we also have to be careful that anything we do that's not up to par, they're going to try to bring us down. They're going to try to take away our voice. We can't allow them to take away our voice. That's the only way we get things to change.
Well, I want to say thank you again. I think that's a great note to leave this off on, but I want to say thank you again for giving me this opportunity to talk with someone like you, because it was genuinely an amazing experience.
You're very welcome. Thank your Uncle Eddie.
I will.
Yeah, he's a good friend. So you're very welcome. I'm glad I could help, and good luck to you in the future. And if you need anything, just reach out. You got my number, just text me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.